Colour slides like these are so easy to make with a Kodak Retinette 1A camera outfit. Your Kodak dealer will show you the Kodak Retinette 1A 35mm camera outfit, complete with the famous Retinette 1A camera, priced at just £22.10.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another Wednesday Wonder, where this Wednesday I'm going to be wondering whether this camera, this Kodak Retinette, whether this Kodak camera works. Bit of a funky intro, but the camera's so clean I couldn't resist giving it a grand opening. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Got to say thanks straight away to Janne, one of the subscribers on SFLaB. Sent me this tripod. He won it in a competition. And he knows that my one's all held together by nuts and bolts, and he sent me this K&F concept tripod for my photography. So Janne, if you're watching, thanks very much, mate. It's very kind, thank you. I've already played around with this. I'll put a link in the description of this tripod. Fantastic little bit of kit. It's got a monopod, goes up as tall as Empire State Building. It's amazing. And here it is, the Kodak Retinette A1. 1A. View, camera, leaf shutter and all that stuff. I don't know nothing about these cameras. I have to research stuff. There's so many different cameras out there, and I've had to do a little bit of research on this camera. I'd never seen one before, certainly never held one before. But my mate Gaz, you know Gaz, he sent one to me the other day. He said, I found this in an antique shop. He said he got it for a song, probably got it for a £5, or he nicked it, one of the two. And he sent it to me, so I need to know if it works or not. And if it does work, great, I'll put it in amongst my collection of 35mm cameras. And like I said in a video a little while ago showing my 35mm cameras, I use them all. I do, I just use them all. I like using cameras, you know. I like it a lot. Anyway, so on with the camera. I didn't know anything about it. The only thing I did know was that the shutter didn't work. When I got it and I advanced the shutter, nothing was happening. I looked at the back, the leaf wasn't, the aperture in the leaf shutter wasn't opening at all. But basically the little tiny stem, the little firing pin here had come off of the, I don't know, come off of something inside, because when I placed it back inside properly, hey ho, and Wonderland, it all started working again, which is great. So I thought, excellent, now I can play around, stick some film in it and see if it works. It's in really good condition. It's pretty much it is in mint condition. I can't see any problems with it at all. I gave the viewfinders and all that a little clean inside, and that's all come out nice. So it also came with this little case as well, like they always do. They come out with these leather cases. So much leather in them days with their cameras. Must have had a lot more cows than they do today. But also this little tiny bit here, it's got a little lens hood as well. Let's put the case down on the floor. It's got a little lens hood, just clips on there. And I put this on Instagram the other day, this camera, and said blah blah blah, and someone said I hope it's got a lens hood with it, and it does. So that's a little bonus as well. So I had to do some research, and this particular camera is 1959. There was a couple made around that time, Retinas 1A ones. I think one was a Vero shutter and one was a Pronto. This one's got a Pronto shutter, and it's got shutter speeds of bulb mode, 30th of a second, 60, 125 and 250. My experience with these sort of shutters is when you get down to the slower speeds, they don't work as well. They kind of get a little bit play up a little bit, you know. The aperture's from 3.5 all the way to f22, and there's no rangefinder or anything. It's a view camera, so you can look through. There's a little tiny window, and there's some glass inside here that sort of balances it out, and pretty much what you see through there is what you get through the lens. It's quite clever, and it's got, like these shutters do have, it's got the little timer on it as well, but like I say, it's not a rangefinder. You have to try and guess the focusing yourself. So I've never used this before. I had to go up and I've run out of 35mm film, so I had to run up to our local chemist, Boots Chemist, and luckily they had a roll of HP5. They had 2 rolls left. I've just loaded the film inside the camera, Kodak A1. I've just come out of the chemist with that roll of film, so I'm going to mill off to a boatyard and take a few pictures, which is round the corner, and then get home and shoot the rest at home, just testing the shutter speeds and testing the focusing as well, using a tape measure, see if the camera's working properly. So I haven't even got my light meter with me, although I've got my phone app. But I reckon, you know, today's like a dull overcast, kind of light dull overcast day. 400 speed film, sunny 16 rule. If it was sunny, f16 400, but it's not. I want to shoot at 125, so what's that, roughly nearly 3 stops. So I reckon f8, 1/25 of a second should be all right. Only take a one shot. It's a bit uninspiring. And I took a picture there, a couple of pictures there, but that wasn't great, so I came back and decided to do some stuff indoors with it. I mainly wanted to test out and make sure the focusing was working. I know obviously the aperture blades are all working, I've checked them, it's firing now. I don't know if the shutter speeds are working as they should be, so I need to test that out as well. But most importantly, I also need to make sure that it's focusing properly and it's not out of focus. So let's get on and see if this camera works. So the way that I checked the shutter speeds on this camera was set up my scene, which was dried tulips that I'd saved from a shoot from the other day, and put them on a black background, did some metering, stuck some light on it, and got back to the camera. I measured the distance, which was 3.5 feet away from the tulips. So that's my first point of testing, is making sure that this is going to be in focus. And then I wanted to test the shutter speed. So what I did, I measured up at f11 at a 30th of a second, took me shot, and then I went to a 60th of a second, and then came down to f8. Then I went to 1/25th, come down to f5.6, 2/50th, come down to f4. So pretty much compensating with my aperture and shutter speed. So if all the negatives, all the photographs are equally exposed, then that means these shutters are working pretty well. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the zone focusing, and I've got my ruler again, so I'm just coming short of my 3.5 feet, and if I set my lens distance to 3.5 feet at f11, which is what I'm shooting, it says that anything between 3.5 feet and 6 feet should be in focus. So in theory, my focus point is just probably a few inches in front of the Buddha's nose, way beyond. So if that's right and it's in good sharp focus, that lens, the whole Buddha should be in focus on this shot. So this is zone focusing I'm using, but I still need to measure the distance because I wouldn't have a clue how to judge that. So next thing I needed to do was to make sure that the focusing was working properly, and the way I did that was set up a small scene, put a nice bright light on it, which was the Buddha, a small piece of parchment paper or tracing paper on the back, and then I used my loop on the back of the camera, measured the distance, and I could see from there if my image was in focus or not. You'd know if it was blurry, and it seemed to be pretty much in focus. So I've just put a little tiny piece of parchment paper on the back of the camera, put it in bulb mode, opened it with the shutter cable, and used my loop just to look through and measured exactly 3.5 feet from the Buddha to the camera's film plane, and it seems to be a little tiny bit out of focus, but then that could be my eyes, I don't know. I should have done this before I put the film in, but it makes no odds because I won't be able to fix it anyway. I've tried fixing these focusing rings in the past, and with not very good results. So right, let's get some XTOL stuck in this tank where the film is at the moment. The rest of the film is in my pocket there. That's going to be used another day. Let's go. So as you can see from the scans, they come out all right. They're nice and sharp, well exposed, and they look great. So I'm really happy with what I've done. I'm also happy with how I shot it outside when I sort of guesstimated the sunny 16 rule. That seemed to come out all right. I've got a fantastic camera to shoot 35mm. And I do enjoy shooting this kind of photography, having to think a little bit, measure my distances, you know, do some zone focusing. It's not been done for you with autofocusing and so on, or looking through the lens focusing. You've got to measure it all yourself, but they're amazing. These little cameras, if you can pick these up, these sort of cameras, and like these Ice Icons and the SFLaBs that I've got, they're just fantastic bits of kit and, you know, interesting to use. Unfortunately, you know, but I saw online some guy stuck a light bulb sticking out of this one when I was researching about retinas. What an eyesore! That was probably a good camera, but the most important thing is this ain't got no light leaks, and the focusing looks spot on. So I'm really happy to go forward and continue using this camera in the future amongst all the other 35mm cameras that I've got. And like I said, these things are cheap as chips on eBay. 35mm film camera gets you thinking as well with the zone focusing and the range finding that you've got to do. But a classic bit of kit to use if anyone's interested. There it is, the Kodak Retinette Retinette 1A. That's it, another Wednesday wonder. I wondered if the camera worked. It does work. I'm well happy. Got to say thanks to everyone that supports the channel, and I'll catch you next time. One of the hardest things I ever find about making videos is loading a roll of film inside a camera while trying to show you guys what you're doing, because you end up all cack-handed. I just can't do it. So I'm going to stick it on my lap.